Oops. There. For the following, Vidaber Hashem. We're all focused?
Yes. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
At the front door.
Oh boy, there she goes.
Front door. Thank you. There's two of you. Oh. Nice picture. Yeah. All right. We have
Huh?
I hear you speak. You're not moving your lips.
Pretty talented, huh?
Yeah. But ventriloquist is supposed to have the voice of a dummy. You don't have the voice of a dummy.
I have my own voice.
Your own voice.
Oh, that's pretty dumb. To do your own voice, huh? Okay, we have it on screen here.
Yeah, especially a block.
Okay, there we go. There, it's in. There we go. Vidaber Hashem el Moshe Lemar, and Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, what did he say? We welcome everybody here that is close and those that are far. And right?
What do you mean? Close and far. Are you feeling
Okay, Shimon Leib. We're inviting Shimon Leib for color commentary, but we're going to wait for the color. The man in yellow. It's always with the comment. It's colorful commentary.
Yeah, because I had something interesting to say last week, but
but you didn't come, so
I left early. I did come. You just didn't notice me.
Shimon Leib.
That's impossible.
But that's impossible. So, 1 second. Such bittul. Shimon Leib, such bittul is not going to be your avodah. All right. El bnei Yisrael Tamar, and to the children of Israel you shall say. That's a little interesting, right? What do you mean? You just said Moshe should speak saying. Who's it going to say to? The children of Israel. What do you mean? Till now, then the next verse comes. Till the children of Tamar you shall say. Ish, ish. Ish, ish, man, man, meaning every man. Mi bnei Yisrael, from the children of Israel. Ger, and from the stranger Agar of Israel that lives. The sojourns amongst the Jews, Asher Yitin Mizarai, that he will give from his seed, Mizarai, from his seed, Lamoilech, to Moilech is an idolatry. Mois Yumas, he will die. Iam Haaretz Yirgemu Ba'aven, the people of Israel shall pelt him with stones. Ooh la la. Okay, I hope everybody had breakfast. But a long time ago at least. Right? Okay. Rashi. El bnei Yisrael Tamar, to the children of Israel you shall say, what does this mean? Anshin al ahazaros. This is punishment on the negative commandment. What does that mean? So the phrase speak to the children of Israel, well, obviously means speak to the children of Israel and tell them. What is this coming to tell us? So this is, in other words, stating the punishment for the transgression of a negative commandment. We already have the negative commandment, was already given to us, if you recall. We learned this. We already learned about not to give to Moilech. Forget which parsha. Does anybody remember? But we learned this, right? But
chapter 18.
Okay, so chapter 18?
Yeah, chapter 20.
Right, we're in chapter 20. So we had it in last week's parsha. Yeah, it was in last week's parsha. Last week's parsha we had it, right? Last week's parsha we had it near the end. So that was the command. I know there's a prohibition. It's called an azhara in Hebrew, a warning, which means a command. Azhara, right? Like, right, to be careful. So now we're coming and giving the punishment that comes with it, right? So you must die, you will die, but based in the court of law. right? Because sometimes the word dying means what?
Oh, early death.
Early death.
From heaven.
Usually the word kares would be used, which means to cut off, right? But sometimes it would be mois yumas and it would be early death, right? So Rashi therefore warns and tells us over it means by court. V'im ein kaya b'beis, and if there isn't the power in beis din, amaretz misayim na'isei, then the people must assist them. In other words, they don't have enough power to kill them. Huh?
As opposed to an early death, you actually kill them?
This is a death. Yeah, this is by court of law. In other words, they need, which we've learned already, that you have to have warning by two kosher witnesses, right? By the act that they're doing, right? That they're fully aware of what they're doing also, by the way. In other words, and they have to acknowledge it verbally, right? So whatever, that's already things that we learn, where those things we've learned already, right?
Well, my question was, an early death means you died later, earlier, or this is a death, immediate death?
But first of all, this is not early death. This is not early death here. This is by the court of law, right? That's what this is over here. Early death means you will die before 50, 60 years old. That's what it means. Okay. Next Rashi, Am ha'aretz, the people of the land, Am shebaginai, the people on whose account nivreis ha'aretz, the land was created for. Interesting. And why does he use the people of the land? Why not say Am? You know, just say the Am. Why do you say of the land? What are you saying of the land for? Just say the Am, the people.
Yeah.
Why do you have to say of the land? So Rashi says, which is interesting, who this land was created for. That's a very seemingly unique idea. I don't understand it exactly, be quite frank. Davar acher, alternative explanation. Am she'asidim alirei ha'aretz, the people are destined to inherit the land. Al yidei mitzvahs halalu, by means of these particular commandments, all of these commandments, I guess. I mean, those who will inhabit the land. Okay. Verse 3. Va'ani etain, and I, for my part, in other words, this is what the court needs to do. But for my part, God says now, I will give, as panai, my face, meaning my inward needs, by ishahu, and that person, and that man, and I will cut him off from the midst of his people. Why? Because from his seed, meaning because he took his kids and he gave them to idolatry, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You gave your own kids and you gave them to idolatry, right? Because Mizara, from his seed, Nasan LaMelech, he gave to Melech, which is that idolatry. Remember, who remembers what kind of idolatry it was?
Human sacrifice.
Not really. Through the fires. You put them through the fires. They go. That's the form, that how it takes form. That idolatry taken through the fires, and I don't know, whatever else. He gave to my Laman in order letame es mikdashi, that you defiled my mikdash. It's interesting, my holy ones. And you profane my holy name. Let's see Rashi. There's interesting terminology over here. Let's see what Rashi says on this. Okay, verse number 3 in Rashi. Etin is panai. I will direct my face. Right. Panai shali means my attention. Rashi says. Right, because your face is where you give your attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Shimalay. You agree with that? You're giving your face to me. You're giving me your attention to me. Thank you.
I'm giving my attention to you.
That's so nice. What does that mean? I turn my aside from all my other concerns. And I will deal with him. Ba'ish, and that man, well, why? I mean, that man. Who says it's a man? Well, what if the whole community is doing it? So Rashi says the verse is coming to say, but not in the community. She ain't called a tzibor and nechrasim, because the entire community will not be cut off. Even though, so we might have thought the entire community would be held responsible for one of its members.
Yeah.
Right? No.
Only the person.
That's one understanding. Another understanding is that the chorus does not apply to an entire community. That, let's say, the entire community would commit this, Two different
What happens
explanations.
if the entire community committed?
So then we just that's what I'm
They-
saying.
they
That
are-
then it would not get cut off.
They would
Not
not get cut.
not get it cut off. It's an individual. That's some of the
They have to choose
commentators.
someone?
No,
That's a
no.
sacrifice. What do you mean, if the whole city to survive, adultery, that's destroyed.
No, but that's on this. They didn't have Moilech.
Answering in though.
No, but that's not what this verse is coming to say.
Understand that, but you-
Okay, but no, we're learning.
made it
But yeah, I know.
clear.
But no, it's it. Yeah, but that's Ir and Idachas. That's a whole different gedder.
Absolutely.
That's a whole different.
We're not talking about
That's a
that.
whole different mitzvah, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about for Moilech. That if the entire one of the explanations in Rashi over here, if the entire community did it, then the entire community would not get cars, or a majority of the community wouldn't get, right? It's an individual thing. Okay, next Rashi. He mizarei nasan l'melech, because he's given his offspring to Melech. But the Fishan Emar, since it says Ma'avir b'naya b'toy ba'eish, we as it actually will say in Devarim later on, that there it gives the details that the one who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire. So from where do I know that prohibition applies to the son of his son, or that is son of his daughter? In other words, not only for your child, but your grandchild. Talmud Leimar. So this verse comes to provide us because you've given from your offspring to Melech. Zera posel minayim. So in other words, any offspring. Later on, the verse is gonna say you gave your son or your daughter. How do we know if you gave your grandchild? Our verse is telling us that. Okay.
So the same punishment as if you gave your son
or your grandchild. Exactly. Zera posel minai. Where do we know that if it was unfit offspring are included in this prohibition? Meaning, a child born from unions that are forbidden to a kohen or a mamzer, for example, and sensuous or adulterous unions. Talmud Leimar, the verse comes to say, the sita mizara lemelech, when he gives from his offspring to melech. In other words, that seems to be superfluous, that he gives of his offspring to melech, which was earlier. Not now, right? So that there it's superfluous. That tells us even if the offspring is not fitting offspring.
Okay.
Okay?
Excellent.
Yeah. Lema and Tame is Mikdashi, because you have defiled that which is sacred to me, as Knesset Yisrael, the assembly of Israel, Shihi Mikdushas Kudeshesli, which is sanctified unto me, right? They are sanctified to me. Mikdashi Veloshin Veloy Yechalis Mikdashi. In the similar manner, the term Mikdashi, and you shall not desecrate that which is holy to me, my holiness. So in other words, you defiled that which is holy to me, meaning the Jewish people. Okay, verse number 4. V'im halem ya'alimu am ha'aris. However, if halem ya'alimu means the word helam means concealment, meaning that you're going to a blind eye, you're going to ignore the people of the land. Eseinehem, their eyes, and others are going to kind of close their eyes. Mina ishahu, from that person, right? Oh, it's your cousin, and you don't want to do any harm to your cousin, or right? That person besita mizara l'moilech. Oh, they hear it's in this verse that when he gave from his seed to Moilech, the vilti hamisai, not to kill him, to put him to death, right? You're going to have compassion over him. But if the people of the land are going to avert if they avert their eyes in one matter, in the end, they're going to avert their eyes to many matters. Interesting. How Rashi gets that from here. Okay, I think that's the double language, right? Right. It's the emphasis of halem yalimu, right? That they will avert they will avert. They will avert. And there's the double emphasis.
Yeah.
So it means they avert from one thing. Vadhelim is one thing. V'yalimu, and they will avert from many things. That's how Rashi
So
is
if they let
understanding.
this go, then they'll let other stuff go.
And that's a down a slippery slope type of thing,
Yeah.
right? That's what the verse is coming to say.
According to Bible.
That's true for everything.
Okay, we're learning Chumash Rashi, so it's not about what's true about anywhere else. It's about what the verse is coming to teach us. That's what's important over here, right? So we got to stay focused and understand that we're not learning life's lessons unless Rashi is teaching us life's lessons, right? Because otherwise we're going to miss the point of how he is learning it from the verse. And that's what's important over here. Everything is learning what is the simple meaning of the verse, not what is the simple lesson of life. Okay? It might be a simple lesson of life, but we want to make sure that we stay true to what we're here to do. Chumash and Rashi. Okay? All right. We're good with that, I hope? Shemeleb, I love you. I love you, Shemeleb.
No problem. Well, I'm still here.
I hope you were here because you're still here because you love.
That's why I'm not in Ottawa.
Yeah, I hope you love I hope you're here because you love yourself as a chassid of the Rebbe, and that's why you're here.
That's what you just said. You just said.
That's what he meant. I was giving color commentary.
As a commentator, Rabbi Fine.
Exactly. Okay. Imahalimu Sanhedrin Katana. So if this, okay, look how Rashi is explaining now. If the lesser Sanhedrin averts their eyes, save she'alimu Sanhedrin Gedela, then the great Sanhedrin will also avert their eyes. Whoa. In other words, if one court is going to kind of, have compassion on this guy, then the next court will also have compassion on this guy when it's inappropriate. Compassion, right? So, the second part of Rashi seems to be an explanation of the first part of Rashi. I didn't take the first part. I took the first part of individuals, that maybe I'm a little bothered with Rashi's explanation. I'm a little, because the verse is saying im halim yalimu, but it's am haaretz. It says the people. It's not saying the adjudicators of law, the court. Whereas Rashi coming and saying it's adjudicators of court. How's that fit in? That's what the verse is saying. The verse is saying am haaretz, not saying. Then it would say, it would say the ashayfet, the judge or something, whatever. But so tzarachin need some understanding over here. Okay, we got a truck over here. Okay, number 5. Then I will place my my attention to that person. And now we add something into his family. And I will cut him off. And not only that, all those who stray after him, right? 2. In other words, we're talking, it sounds like there's this one guy who's kind of the leader over here, right? And others are jumping on the bandwagon to this idolatry as a result of this one person. That's how the verse sounds to me, at least. Okay. That's exactly what the verse sounds, what it's talking about. At least that's how I'm understanding it. We'll see what Rashi has to say. Okay. And all those that are strayed after him, to stray after Melech. Amidst the people, Rashi, number 5, on his family. Remember, this was something that was added here. Right? Rebbe, someone want the booklet, you can have the booklet if you want to see the booklet. You have it here too. Reb Shimon said, what did this family sin? Why should, if they were strayed, so they're going to get sin because they strayed.
Yeah.
But obviously it's adding over here because they didn't stray. So why are they punished? Ella, but this verse meant to tell to teach you that you don't have any family that doesn't have an unjust tax collector, kulam in which all of them are unjust tax collectors. Because they're all covering up on him and supporting him in the sin. Wow. And he's giving an example that if you have someone who's back in the day, they had tax collectors for the king, not the Jewish king, right? And these tax collectors, they pocketed for themselves. They took some of it for themselves, right? Yeah. Others are unjust because they went and said, "Oh, you made extra money this year. Yeah. You're going to pay more." Who's the money going to? The king had already the set amount, perhaps, and he's taking for himself, meaning he's an unjust tax collector. Yeah. So that family is going to protect that person. Yeah. Which, by the way, then becomes a question over here. What's the benefit? Tax collector, you get out, you understand that because the family's benefiting. But here, the one who's giving to Melech, what are you benefiting? Seems to be, to me, a question then for that example, to use that as the example. Okay. I will cut them off from among their people. This person, Lama Nemar. Why does this say? Didn't we already say this in verse number 3? 2 verses ago we said Lafisha Nemar, because it says Mishpachtai, that is family. So one might think the entire family shall be included in the punishment of Karis, so being cut off. Talmud Loimar, but the verse says otherwise. Oisai, he's going to be cut off. Oisai be Karis, he will be punished with Karis, right? But not the entire family is going to be punished with kares. But they're going to get punishment of pain and torment. In other words, they're going to have troubles, right? They're going to have, things that they're going to be painful in their lives. Okay. So you see the exactingness of the verse, and Rashi is being very precise, right?
Yeah. He is.
Because it says hichrarati oisai, not oisam. Should have said oisam, which means what does oisam mean? Them. Oisai means him. So only he's getting kares.
Yeah. Right?
So what do you mean that but God is going to pay attention to the family that they're going to get troubles?
Yeah.
To stray after Melech. This is stated, why is this saying? Well, obviously, this is about Melech. But there's whole thing speaking about this. So Rashi says this include other forms of idolatry. That they worshipped in such a manner. Even this is not their standard manner of worship. In other words, if you worshipped another form of idolatry the way Melech is being worshipped, you'll also be included. Okay, 2 more verses without any Rashi. And the soul, meaning the person, that will turn, tifne means turn, that's a form of idolatry, or or to joinim, right? We already had this.
This witchcraft.
This was last week. What did we have last week? We had the azhara. What's azhara?
Not amulets. Not amulets.
No, what's the word azara mean? It means the warning, meaning the command meant not to do, right?
Yeah.
Now we're giving the punishment, right? That was the warning. Now's the punishment. Okay. So because we spoke about Yidjainim and Ivais, I don't remember now the details. I don't know. One was with
one is witchcraft.
Yeah. Okay. If you will stray after them, and I will give my attention to that individual, and I will cut him off. Right? Again, early death. From amidst his people, is kaddish them, and you shall sanctify yourselves. The Yisam Kedoshim, and you shall be holy. Whether you shall be holy, you will also be holy. Yeah. Right? The double meaning there. Kani Hashem Elokeichem, I am Hashem, your God. Oh, there is a Rashi here. Sorry. I am Hashem, your God. He's kaddish them. Zu Rishes Avodah Zarah. This means to separate yourself from idolatry. right?
It's interesting in number 6, it doesn't talk about a punishment or a consequence for the family.
Really? They suffer.
Yeah. Because this is a different, that's a different time. That's an Oivin Idioni is like a soothsayer, right? Looking in your crystal ball, or speaking from your to the dead and all those things. So it's not a service of idolatry. It's a form of idolatry, but it's not a service that people are going to be running after, right? So it's like you go to the crystal ball guy to find out, what to speak to the dead or something like that. So that's a different that's a different thing. So therefore, it's not it's not the same, I guess, hardcore service, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's an individual will.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be more individual as a result. You're not coming in flocks. The other one, you're going to come in flocks,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's a difference. You're going to come in flocks with those.
Single.
Okay, we're going to